Let's start with today's session. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can see.
Okay. Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuktapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतम सावधूतम परिजना सहितम कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितां च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So welcome everyone to IBC Siksha. We are reading chapter 18 of Bhagavad Gita. We'll continue from verse number 14. So yesterday we just briefly talked about um, why a person may suffer or may not suffer if he performs any action. Like Krishna says here, but those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or order or enjoy. So that means whatever they do, the result won't affect them. And we discussed the example of a soldier. A soldier, when he kills enemies, the killing is not attributed to him. But if he kills his neighbor, that is out of his own selfish motive, then he is being jailed. Okay. So if he has killed hundreds or thousands in the battlefield, he is not put in jail. But if he has killed even one neighbor, then he is put into jail. So how come this happens? So from the Vedanta Sutra perspective, Krishna is explaining how this happens. So he says there are 5 causes which tell any action has a result or not. And we read this. These are the 5 causes: the place of action, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. Now we made a mathematical formula out of it. Where the above 4 are adding to each other, but the last one is multiplying. So if the last one is 0, then however big this value may be, 100, 200, 1000, 10,000, but if it is multiplied by 0, what is the result?
Zero.
Zero, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So this is what it means, that all our endeavors are one side, and Krishna's desire or super soul's desire is on one side. That is the ultimate. When we say ultimate, it's what?
That is the end of it.
Final.
Final.
Final thing.
Who is going to make the final decision? Krishna is going to make
God,
the final
Krishna.
decision as super soul. But he's not making a final decision as playing a dice or tossing a coin. No. He has his plan. And for those who are devotees, he will make the karma, the reaction to be 0 for the devotees. But those who are not devotees and all, then he will see according to that dharma, karma, all the account, and then he will provide that kind of result. So in both the cases, he decides how much to give, how much not to give, and all that for devotee, non-devotee. Okay, and therefore, a devotee is in the is renounced, and there the super soul removes all the reactions from his endeavors. So they don't get any reaction out of it. They don't have to suffer, neither they have to enjoy. So this is what Krishna is trying to explain. Somebody read the purport.
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Okay, go ahead.
The word adhisthanam refers to the body. The soul within the body is acting to bring about the results of activity and is therefore known as karta, the doer. That the soul is the knower and the doer is stated in the Shruti. Isa hi he drasta sasta. Prasanna Upanishad 4.9. So it is also confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra by the verses no, the no ta eva 2.3.18 and karta sastravatat. The instrument of action are the senses, and by the senses, the soul acts in various ways. For each and every action, there is a different endeavor. But all one's activities depend on the will of the super soul, who is seated within the heart of as a friend. The Supreme Lord is the super cause. Under these circumstances, he who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the super soul, situated within the heart, is naturally not bound by any activity. Those in complete Krishna consciousness are not ultimately responsible for their actions. Everything is dependent on the supreme will, the super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So let's take the example of a ghost. What is a ghost?
Ghost.
Subtle body, Prabhuji.
Yeah, it is just a subtle body plus soul.
Mm.
That is a ghost because they have died untimely, so they become ghost. Now, if the subtle body wants, if this ghost wants to do any activity, does it have the body?
No,
No.
No, Prabhuji.
So it doesn't have the senses? No.
no.
So all that, so therefore a ghost can, when they try to perform action, it is very difficult for them to perform action on the gross level.
Mm.
Like that it is. Now, if you take an example of a disabled person, a disabled person will have some issues with his senses, some issues with his body, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
And his endeavors won't be perfect also if he
Mm.
has to lift a thing and all that. So we can see all of this won't be, to the best of the efforts, right? So all of these values will be very less. So therefore their result will also be less.
Mm.
So most of the time the super soul acts as neutral. Neutral means what? Number one.
Number one.
Yeah, depending on this and depending on the what to say, karma, how much he deserves, how much the soul deserves, the super soul decides to give the result. For the devotee, the super soul tells what all to do. That's
Mm.
what Prabhupada is trying to say. That the super soul is directing the devotee what all to do within his heart. And therefore, in this equation, when the super soul comes, if he's in this equation, he's telling what all to do. So whatever he wants, the super soul want is getting done. So then the result will be, will he put this result on the soul? No, right? If suppose a person says, another person, let's say a master says to his his servant, go get me something. Now who is ultimately responsible for that action? The master, right?
Master.
Yeah. So that's how, the soul, if he becomes complete servant of Krishna, and then Krishna tells him do this, do this, do this, then whatever the activity may be,
Mm. It
ultimate
depends on.
blame is gone to Krishna.
Mm.
And therefore the soul has nothing to do. He neither enjoys nor suffers.
Mm.
So therefore the devotee who's under the direction of the Krishna completely, okay, is not responsible for his actions. That's why Prabhupada says not ultimately responsible for his actions, because he is doing everything whatever the Supreme is saying.
Mm.
So the Supreme is there, and then the Supreme, on the Supreme, does karma comes? Does karma influence the Supreme? No.
No.
So therefore the karma is directed by the supreme actually. Everything is under him, so nothing can touch the devotee, pure devotee. Okay, for us, we are like, certain percentage under the direction of super soul, certain percentage under our own whims. So therefore for us, we are responsible for our actions. But for a pure devotee, that is not the case, because he's 100% dependent on Krishna. He's 100% listening to Krishna. For our case, we are not so much listening to Krishna. Maybe 1%, 2%. 98% we are doing what we want to do, right?
Correct.
Therefore, we are responsible for our actions. Sometimes we listen to Krishna,
Mm.
like that it is. But in spite of all this, Krishna still is merciful, and he reduces our karma, he reduces the reactions. Okay. So, whatever right, wrong action a man performs of body, mind, speech is caused by these five factors. So, whatever wrong, right we uh, perform, by body, by mind, by speech, what we speak, is all caused by these five factors. So the words right and wrong are very significant in this verse. Right work is the work done in terms of prescribed directions in the scriptures, and wrong work is against the principles of scriptural injunctions. But whatever is done requires the five factors for its complete performance. So even a wrong activity is sanctioned by the Lord. Interesting, right?
Mm.
Does so anything bad happening in this world, does the Lord desires that?
No, Prabhuji.
No, Prabhuji.
But then five factors is required, right? So he is sanctioning that. So what does that mean? Because he's acting neutrally, he's sanctioning. Like that it is. If he desires, then he doesn't want certain activities. But in this world, right, he has made this world such that he's acting neutrally to as a super soul. How that is explained is in our 15th chapter we read, na? Urdhamulam adashakam ashwatam praur abhayam chandamsi yassa parnani yastam vedasa vedavet. Um, yeah,
Mental.
yeah, inverted. So here there are two. It said there are two birds. One is we as a living entities, and another one is Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is completely satisfied, but we are very interested. We are looking, we are looking. Ah, there is another apple there. There is another fruit there. Let me jump out there. And as we jump, the Super Soul comes with us. Okay, okay, what are you doing? And we are like saying, oh, we are jumping from one branch to another, to another, to another, to another. When we turn to him and say, how come you are self-satisfied, and we become interested in him, then our process of liberation, bhakti, everything starts. So for so so if we want to go up or we want to go down, that is our decision, right? Yes or no?
Mm. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
So like that it is. So in this whole thing, right, when we become devotee, na, krishna is little more than super soul. He takes personal decision in our life.
Mm.
Remember that. When we become devotee, na, he takes personal decision. Otherwise otherwise he just remains as neutral, as we want, so even if we want to do ignorance in we, he will sanction it. Okay, do. But the moment we are interested in him, we want to say, okay, you tell me what I need to do. Then the super soul doesn't remain neutral, becomes very interested in us. Like that it is. Like, like like someone is asking advice from you, then you become interested in that person, right? You tell more
Mm.
to him, right?
Mm.
But somebody is not asking you anything, then how will you act? You will act neutral, right? You
Yes,
say,
Prabhuji.
okay, you're not asking, so what can I do? You do what you want. like that. So like that, so this is how the soul, super soul reacts. Okay. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, this word is very important. The only doer, not considering the five factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. So we should not think we are the only doer in this world. Like everything is happening because of my energy. No, it is happening because of Krishna's energy. We discussed this point, right? I asked this question. We'll go back. We had, huh. So who is actually digging here?
The person with the distinct tractor, the digger,
Is the digger digging or the person digging?
digger.
No, the digger is dead, right? It
The
doesn't do on. So
person,
it is digging under the direction of the person.
yeah,
So if something he does wrong, does we punish the digger or person, or we punish the person?
the person.
Person,
Yeah.
person.
So so if the person says I dig it, he's right. But did he really dig it? No, right? He used Earth's excavator to dig it. So what he can say, I use the excavator to dig it. He cannot say I dig it, right?
Mm.
I dig it means he himself dig it with his own energy. No, it's not like that. So we should not consider we are the only doer. We are using something else to achieve our activity, right? So our whole ability, our talent, our skills, everything is given to us, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
If you are able to cook today, if you are able to work today, remember when we were babies, at that point is what, was it possible to cook or was it possible to work?
No.
No, right? So that means things are given to us. We are trained and all that, right?
Mm.
So we shouldn't get proud saying that I had everything from my birth only. No, right? See, that is the difference between us and Krishna. In Krishna's case, from birth only he was God. He didn't become God. How he appeared? He appeared as
The
400
foreign.
form of Vishnu, right? He was a baby
400
also, and he
Narayana.
as 400 form, and he had jewelry on his body. When we
Yes.
appeared from our mother's womb, did we have jewelry?
No.
No,
No.
right? So that's the thing. That is the difference between. We need to understand what is the difference between Krishna and us. So Krishna can say he is the doer because everything is under his control. Can we say we are the doer? No. Then what are we? We are the initiator. We desire something, and then Krishna provides us, and then we do something. Getting? Just like digging. We will use some instrument to dig, and then we will say yes, I dig. But we should understand I dig it by the mercy of Krishna, like that, because all ability, everything is given to me. Does this make sense now?
Mm.
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Yeah. So this is Vedanta philosophy where it makes us clear ki who is where, what is our real position, how we are working in this world. So this is Vedanta philosophy. So philosophy. That's why philosophy is not discussed among common people. It requires some expertise,
Extra
not
brain to
extra brain, but
understand.
expertise. It requires in that particular mode. One is philosophically, analytically discussing and all that. A foolish person cannot understand that super soul is sitting as a friend within and conducting his actions. All the material cause are the place, the worker, the endeavor, the senses. The final cause is the supreme. Therefore, one should see not only the four material causes, just not the four material causes, but the supreme efficient cause, the supreme cause, that is Krishna. One who does not see supreme thinks himself to be doer. Does it make sense?
Yes, Prabhu. Mm.
Okay. So one who is not motivated by false ego. So then we rectify ourselves. We say, okay, I'm not this body. I'm the soul. I'm using this body to under the direction of Krishna to achieve something. So one who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, does not kill, nor he is bound by his actions. So when one gets this whole understanding, then he acts according to Krishna. And even he may kill, he will do it for what? Dharmic purpose only, the killing. So then is he bound by his actions? No,
Mm.
because he did it under the direction of Krishna, under the direction of Dharma. So in this word, the Lord, can someone read purport?
Prabhuji, I just want to ask you, then what about the demons like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana and all, Prabhuji? The instructions were given by God to them to do like this or what?
Okay, before before even Krishna gave those kind of instructions to them,
Hmm.
why would Krishna give them? That is my question to you. Why he gave them?
Because they were cursed by their Kumaras, no?
Okay, that is one reason. What is another reason?
Because they wanted to get killed by God Himself.
No. Okay, if Ravana wanted to do all his bad things and Krishna sanctioned it, why did Krishna sanction Ravana's bad activities? What is the real cause? I mean, why would the super soul allow that thing?
If he has the karma credits to
No,
whatever
because the soul desires it.
desires it.
Because
Yes.
Ravana has a soul desire that I wanted to do bad things. I don't want to be your
Mm.
devotee. Then Krishna is acts like a super soul. He's neutral, and then he says, "Okay, do. Okay, what do you want? You want power? Here, take it. But then you will be responsible for your actions."
Okay, okay. Mhm.
Okay, like that it is. But when Krishna tells to Arjuna, "You kill on my order," then who's responsible, Arjuna or Krishna? Then Krishna is
Krishna.
responsible, and nothing can touch Krishna. No crime, no judge, nothing, no law. He's above everything. So no
Mm.
result. Okay, now you get it.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, somebody read the purport.
Shall I read, Prabhuji? In this, Hare Krishna. In this verse, the Lord informs Arjuna that the desire not to fight arises from the false ego. Arjuna thought himself to be the doer of action, but he did not consider the supreme sanction within and without. If one does not know that a super sanction is there, why should he act? But one who knows the instruments of work, himself as a worker, and the Supreme Lord as the supreme sanctioner, is perfect in doing everything. Such a person is never in illusion. Personal activity and responsibility arise from false ego and godlessness or a lack of Krishna consciousness. Anyone who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the super soul or the supreme personality of Godhead, even though killing does not kill, nor is he ever affected by the reaction of such killing. When a soldier kills under the command of a superior officer, he is not subject to be judged. But if a soldier kills on his own personal account, then he is certainly judged by a court of law. Hare Krishna.
So yeah, so so again, coming back to your question, if Ravana wanted to do such things and Krishna sanctioned it as the super soul,
Mm.
why did he do that? Because Ravana desired as a soul, he said, "I want to do all these things. I don't want to be a devotee." Then super soul said, "Okay, fine, take it. Then you will be responsible."
Mm.
Now, what was Arjuna's fault in chapter 1? I don't want to
I
fight.
don't want to fight.
So that was according to the Lord? No.
Mm. It was
Lord
his
said,
own.
"Yeah, I want you to fight." So he said the whole Bhagavad Gita to him. Then Arjuna will say in this chapter, "Yes, I will fight." Then
Mm.
Arjuna killed almost 60 lakh people. Was he responsible for that? No.
No, no.
Krishna
Mm.
wanted that. And he shows that in the Virat room where everyone is getting killed. And what he says, Arjuna? Arjuna, you become Nimitta Matra. right? See, people are anyway going to die, right? And death
Yes.
is Krishna. Kalosmi. Krishna says, I am death, I am time. So people are anyway going to die. Now, for what reason they die?
They were saying they were envious with the Pandus.
Yeah. So in the case of war, Krishna says they acted adharmically, so they are going to die, some or the other. So Arjuna, you become my instrument, and from your hand let the arrows come out, and I will make sure those arrows kill them. And that's how they will die. But then world will say Arjuna killed. But we know that it was Krishna who killed.
Yes.
So like that it is. Okay?
Mm.
See, world will say, soldier, you get Paramveer Chakra.
Mm.
But who gave the whole decision, everything? The
Super
government gave.
Krishna.
The government.
The government. And the king gave. Like that. So who ultimately wins the war? The king wins the war, right? And the
Yes.
soldier fights it. Like that.
Credit goes to king.
Credit goes to the king. Now in this case, no one knows about this super soul, all this concept, right? This is Vedanta Sutra. So common man thinks credit goes to the person who did it. But behind the scene, all these things are happening. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, interestingly, we'll move to again the three modes of material nature. Our favorite topic. Because that it's a very important topic. These three modes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Anybody acting, and if you can identify which mode is going on, you can immediately say what will be the result.
Yeah, good. Passion and ignorance.
So if let's say
Goodness.
the baby is crying.
It is of ignorance. A passion actually to have more.
Now we'll see what reason it is crying for. I want it, I want it, I want it.
So that's passion.
Passion,
There will be
Prabhuji.
some madness in it. They will hit the parent only.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That
Like that.
ignorance also
So
comes in that.
if the baby says, I want to touch fire, I want to touch fire, ooh, then there will be some misery.
Yeah.
Either mother will give one nice
Beating.
slap, or the baby himself will do something, touch the fire, and then get the misery, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So like that, so just by looking at the action, if we can decide, if we can understand, okay, which mode is working, we will know what is the result. And there we can decide how to act, whether to be involved or to be away from it, or what to do, right? And same thing for us also. If let's say we are in angry mood, and if we simply identify, yes, I am angry, then whatever we say, whatever we speak, we know what is the result it's going to be, right?
Mm.
It's going to cause misery to others and misery to us also, because it's going to be
Yes.
passionate, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So then if we control ourselves, okay, let me calm down. Take breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, count like that. And then we can move from mode of passion to mode of goodness.
Goodness.
Yeah. Like that. So these three modes help us to move from one mode to another and come to basically mode of goodness only. See, Brahmanas are in that mode. The sages are in that mode. Therefore, even though they may be agitated, they will control themselves and they will move from passion to goodness.
Goodness.
Sometimes they will make a mistake, and that's why we have so many stories. Okay.
I know.
Yeah. So knowledge. So this particular three modes of material nature, Krishna says in 14th chapter that the sages use this knowledge, the three modes, and that's how they achieve liberation, just by understanding the three modes and controlling and following according to it. It's like that. So okay, so knowledge, the object of knowledge and knower are the three factors that motivate action. The senses, the work, and the doer are the three constituents of action. Who gives us knowledge? Krishna gives us knowledge, right?
Krishna.
Yeah. So if it motivates any action, who is giving that knowledge? Krishna is giving that knowledge. And we as work, we will use our senses, our endeavors to perform that work. Like that. So there are three kinds of impetus for daily work: knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower. The instrument of work, the work itself, and the worker are the constituents of work. Any work done by any human being has these elements. Before one acts, there is some impetus. Why we want to do, right? Which is called inspiration. Any solution arrived at before work is actualized in the subtle form of work. So first it is done on the subtle platform. If you want to eat gulab jamun, in the mind we eat first the gulab jamun. Then actually, it manifests in the gross form. So first it happens in the subtle form. The mind has decided it wants to do this thing, right? Then work takes place in the form of action. First, one has to undergo the psychological process of thinking, feeling, and then willing. So first we think, then we start feeling, and then we actually do it. That is called impetus. This whole thing is called impetus. The inspiration to work is same if it comes from scriptures or from instruction or of the spiritual master. When the inspiration is there and the worker is there, then actual activity takes place with the help of senses, including the mind, which is center of all senses. The sum total of all constituent of all activities is called accumulation of work. So if our inspiration itself is from the scripture or from the spiritual master, then our work will be in mode of goodness, in pure goodness, and there won't be any reaction to it, right? So we have to rectify our inspiration. So our thinking, feeling, willing process should be coming from scriptures or under the direction of the spiritual master. This is what it means. According to the three modes of material nature, there are three different kinds of knowledge: action and performer of action. Now hear from me. So, so according to three modes, knowledge is also of three kinds, action is also of three kinds, performer action is also three kinds, right? And Krishna is going to give now. In the 14th chapter, the three divisions of modes of material nature are elaborately described. In this chapter, it is said that the mode of goodness is illuminating. Illuminating means it is telling us what is the right thing to do, and it is getting us good results only, which is not harming us. Mode of passion, materialistic. Mode of ignorance, laziness, indolence, madness. All the modes of material nature are binding, and they are not sources of liberation. So even goodness binds. How does goodness binds us? We discussed last time. How does goodness binds us? One thinks himself to be superior. Even in the mode of goodness, one is conditioned. He thinks himself to be superior. He doesn't think himself humble, right? So that's how he is bind. One who can feel humble, he is in pure goodness. In the 17th chapter, the different types of worship by different types of men in different modes of material nature are described. In this verse, Lord Krishna says that he wishes to speak more about the different types of knowledge, workers, work itself, according to three modes. Okay, somebody read this translation purport.
Hare Krishna. That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities, though they are divided into innumerable forms, you should understand to be in the mood of goodness.
Wait. From this statement, what do you understand?
Even though you can see different forms, even with so many innumerable things, but you have to be fixed in your mind that you have to go in only mode of goodness.
I mean, different bodies, but soul is the same.
Yeah,
But you
that
have
that
to
is what
be
it means. Yeah, that is what it means.
Bodies are different.
There are different bodies, but within all body there is actually the soul which is
Same
directing the
soul.
body. Getting? So when one has this kind of knowledge, then it is in mode of goodness.
What is this, Prabhuji? Undivided spiritual nature?
Spirit soul. Spirit soul cannot be divided, right?
Okay.
but you should understand to be in the mode of goodness means that is you have to be fixed in your mind, that you have to be in the mode of goodness.
No, what it says is the knowledge.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
So let's say there are so many people around us.
Mm.
How are you looking at them? With what knowledge are you looking at them?
They are all different souls.
They are different
Same,
souls.
Mm.
same soul in
But
different
spirit,
bodies. But spirit soul is one in all the bodies.
Okay, okay, okay.
Costume is
Okay,
different.
okay, okay, okay. Okay. What it means is, it simply means that we are seeing so many forms.
Mm.
Okay, but these are
Mm.
externally different. Internally, everyone is spiritual.
Okay.
Okay, this is what it simply means.
Same spirit soul is there in all the bodies.
Yeah, now you got it. So when we see
Yeah.
with that understanding, then we are in mode of goodness.
Okay.
Okay, understood.
So then
Okay,
we are not
understood.
separating people. We are not saying, okay, you are bad, you are good. We are not, okay, you are animal and all that. We will treat them kindly.
As. Mm.
Okay, because we
Oh,
have this
okay.
samatattva. We can see them equally. Equally means what? On the level of spirituality. But on the
Spirit
material
soul is
platform, we
one.
will see them differently. But on the spiritual platform, we will see them equally.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, but lion and tiger, they will eat us, no, Padam. Prabhuji, they'll see.
So on the spiritual platform, we will see them equally, but on the material platform, we'll see them differently, and therefore we will deal with them differently on the material platform.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Before going there, let's see what happens in the potion, mode of passion. That knowledge, by one sees that in every different body there's a different type of living entity, you should understand it to be mode of passion. What is the problem with this with this knowledge?
That is, they don't understand that spirit soul is the same in all the bodies.
Yeah, they say this is a different person, and therefore
Hmm.
they judge that person, and they may segregate it.
So in
They
this
may say you are
person, the
black,
spirit soul
you
is
are
different.
white, you should not come here, right? You are a different person
Hmm.
only. But a sadhu will say, you may be black, you may be white, but actually you are spirit.
Mm.
And therefore he may not differentiate on that purpose. Right?
Mm.
Okay. So, with this understanding, what happens is uh, um, we can become kind or unkind. Let's put it that way. So, this knowledge in mode of goodness makes us kind. Why?
Towards all
Because
living entity.
we see actually everyone is a soul. Even though this body is there, everyone is a soul, and therefore everyone is eternal. And therefore let's say if somebody is disturbing us, planning bad things about us, and we think, okay, we may think bad about him, but when this knowledge of goodness is there, then we'll say actually he's the soul.
Mm.
But then if he reacts with us badly, like you were talking about animals, they will attack us. So on the material platform we will protect us, right?
Mm.
Hmm.
But we won't try to harm them unnecessarily. Like what
Yes.
happens in this is, like, there are different bodies. So one is not seeing the soul at all. So then he says, this is a different body, I want the skin of this animal. So he will go killing,
Mm.
Hmm.
right? But in mode of goodness, what happens is he says, no, no, there is a spirit soul in that body, and that is going through one form to another. Let him complete this body. I should not kill him unnecessarily. So then this kind of understanding comes. You understanding, right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Mm.
Yeah. So we start getting finer understanding of life if we
So
have
if
this.
the animal is killed, he will have to take rebirth till he completes his.
Yes, 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 yes. So that is
Okay.
the problem.
Hmm.
And one who has this knowledge, mode of goodness knowledge, um, he only will decide, right, whether to kill or not. But in mode of passion, what will people do? They'll just go kill. He's not human, he's animal, I can kill him like that only. right?
Yeah.
See, by spiritual knowledge, by seeing everyone as a spirit, we can act very finely, right? But if we have material vision, if we think that this external body itself is a different body, then we will act differently with everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, Ravana attacked Ram, therefore Ram killed him. But after killing, what did Ram do? Ram told Vibhishan to do Antim Sanskar.
Mm.
At that point, he said, now he's no more body. He's the soul actually.
Mm.
And we have to take care of the soul. So you have to do Antim Sanskar.
Mm.
But suppose there are terrorists, right?
Mm.
When they kill
Yeah.
people, they
They
have no consideration only,
mm.
right?
Mm.
Yes.
They will kill anybody in front of them. They have no consideration. So they are not giving any value to life. You understanding? So
Yes.
above knowledge gives
Mm.
us understanding of value to life in everybody, and mode of passion doesn't give us it devalues person, right?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So this knowledge of soul and all this actually makes us into brahmana, where we start
Mm.
seeing things equally and we act accordingly. Hmm?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the matter of realization also. Okay, it's a matter of realization also. Okay, so somebody read the purport.
I'll read Prabhuji. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Hmm, hmm.
20th. Purport. A person who sees one spirit soul in every living being, whether a demigod, human being, animal, bird, beast, aquatic, or plant, possesses knowledge in the mode of goodness. In all living entities, one spirit soul is there, although they have different bodies in terms of their previous work. As described in the seventh chapter, the manifestation of the living force in everybody is due to the superior nature of the Supreme Lord. Thus, to see that one superior nature, that living force in every body, is to see in the mode of goodness. That living energy is imperishable, although the bodies are perishable. Differences are perceived in terms of the body because there are many forms of material existence in conditional life. The living force appears to be divided. Such impersonal knowledge is an aspect of self realization. Hare Krishna.
So if an enemy also comes, we will see him as living and as a spirit soul, right?
Mm.
And we will
Yes.
act according to him. If the enemy is attacking us, we may protect ourselves. Otherwise, we will think good about him also.
Hmm.
Why? Because we know your spirit soul actually you are going through this body. Um, I will tell you good things that will help you come out of it, right? So like that, this understanding only can come, when somebody is in mode of goodness. Okay. Now, mode of passion. That knowledge by which one sees that in every different body there is different living entity. You should understand it in mode of passion. The concept is that the material body is the living entity. That means the body itself is the identity. And with the destruction of the body, the consciousness is also destroyed and is called knowledge in mode of passion. So one thinks this body is ultimate. There is no soul in it. Okay. So we just live once. So because somebody lives once, we can just kill it, right? I don't need to care how he feels or she feels, right? We are just living once. So that kind of selfish mentality starts coming up if one has this knowledge of mode of passion. According to that knowledge, bodies differ from one another because of the development of different types of consciousness. Otherwise, there is no separate soul which can manifest consciousness. The body itself is the soul, and there is no separate soul beyond the body. According to such knowledge, consciousness is temporary, or else there is no individual soul, but there is an all-pervading soul which is full of knowledge, and this body is a manifestation of temporary ignorance. Or beyond this body, there is no special individual or super soul, supreme soul. All such conceptions are considered products of mode of passion. So there are two, three concepts here. First thing is the material body itself is the final thing. There is nothing beyond it. Okay, there is no soul. So that's why some people say we just live once. So enjoy, right? And for my enjoyment, I won't care for anyone else's enjoyment. So that is mode of passionate living. Now there are other understanding also of mode of passion knowledge. One is
Prabhuji, one question.
yeah.
The concept that the material body is the living entity and that with the destruction of the body, the consciousness is also destroyed. It is true, na Prabhuji. Once the person is dead, the consciousness also dead, isn't it?
No, the consciousness
So
is
how
given by
can
whom? By
given
the
by
spirit
God,
soul.
by the spirit soul? Yes.
Yeah. So the spirit soul carries that consciousness into another body. So consciousness never
Oh,
dies. It
okay,
just
okay,
moves from one body to another.
okay.
Um, the body is not conscious anyway. It is made conscious by the
So,
soul.
Soul
Yeah.
by the soul.
Yes.
Okay.
So when they say
Here it
consciousness
means.
is temporary, what it means is that there is a start and end to it,
Hmm.
and there is nothing more than that, right?
So here consciousness means the soul.
Yeah, yes. So he thinks that there is no
Okay.
soul, this consciousness is there, and it just came and it went, and that's it.
Okay. Oh,
So then I can
okay.
kill anybody and all that, right? All that concepts comes in mind.
Okay.
Huh? Then the second type of mode of
Okay.
passion knowledge is that there is no individual souls, but there is only one soul, and that is getting divided in all these bodies.
Oh,
So that is another
okay.
kind of philosophy, which is also wrong. And then third thing is there is no supreme soul also, meaning there is
Hmm.
nothing like someone controlling everything.
The Mayavadi philosophers, they believe, isn't it, Prabhuji,
Yeah, yes,
that there
yes.
is no super soul.
Um, yes, that there is a controller, they think, but they think that you can also become that controller, and that controller comes under the influence of Maya. Therefore, they are called as
Hmm.
Mayavadis.
Hmm.
So, if controller comes under the influence of Maya, that means Maya is superior, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but that is not possible. So, therefore, we say, your philosophy is wrong. Because if God,
Hmm.
if something comes, if God is controlled by that, then that person who is controlling is God, right?
Yes.
And we are being controlled, so we can never become God.
Hmm.
Right, like that. Okay. And that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as all in all without knowledge of the truth, which is very meager, is said to be mode of means here what happens is this mode of darkness knowledge is I don't care, I just want to live very comfortably in this world.
ignorance. Huh?
Yeah, I want
Passion.
to live in this ignorance, just comfortably eating, merry, sleep, and what is it? Merry living, eating, sleeping, and
The maid.
drinking, like that.
Defending.
Huh?
Eating, sleeping, defending.
Yeah, only interested in these
This
activities.
is actually,
So then, it is said to be in ignorance.
ignorance.
Yeah. The knowledge of the common man is always in mode of darkness, ignorance, because every living entity in this world is born in mode of ignorance. One who does not develop knowledge through the authorities or scriptural injunction has knowledge that is limited to the body. He is not concerned about acting in terms of direction of scriptures. So he's only concerned that, okay, where will I get my enjoyment, my food, and that's it. For him, God is money, and knowledge means satisfaction of bodily demands. That's it. है ना? पैसा भगवान है, like that. So very materialistic people, they have this knowledge, or they think in this kind of these terms. Such knowledge has no connection with the absolute truth. It more or less the knowledge of ordinary animals. Yeah, eating, sleeping, mating, living. Such knowledge is described here as a product of darkness. In other words, knowledge concerning the spirit soul beyond this body is called knowledge in mode of goodness. Knowledge producing many theories and doctrines by dint of mundane logic and mental speculation is the mode of passion, and knowledge concerning only in keeping the body comfortable is in mode of ignorance. Okay, someone read translation purport.
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Yeah, yes.
But action, from that's Prabhuji, this one, that action which
Yes,
is
yes.
regulated in which and which is performed without attachment, without love or hatred, and without desire for fruitive result, it is said to be in the mode of goodness.
So
Purport.
again, action, work, everything, it should be regulated without attachment, without
Mm.
love or hatred, meaning without, thinking that is auspicious, inauspicious, without desire for fruitive results. Oh, if I don't get out of anything of it, then. So what it means is do it as a duty, be detached. Hmm. Regulated occupational duties. Go ahead, Manu.
Regulated occupational duties are prescribed in the scriptures in terms of different orders and divisions of society performed without attachment or proprietary rights, and therefore without any love or hatred, and performed in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of the Supreme, without self satisfaction or self gratification, are called actions the mode of goodness.
Okay. Read further.
Okay. But action performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desires and enacted from his false ego is called the action as the mode of passion.
Yeah.
Translation: that action performed in illusion is disregard of scriptural injunctions and without concern for further future bondage or for violence or distress caused to others is said to be in the mode of ignorance.
Yeah.
Purport?
So let's understand this from our three brother example:
Hmm.
Vibhishan, Ravana, and
And
Kumbhakarna.
Kumbhakarna.
So when Vibhishan
Kumbhakarna.
did all the sacrifice, and Brahma said, "What do you want?" What did he say?
I want only spiritual thing. I want
Yeah,
only
he didn't
spiritual.
ask anything. So he did it without attachment,
Yeah.
without any fruitive result.
Mm.
What did Ravana ask?
Passion.
He did very great effort.
Yeah.
He cut his own head,
Mm.
and there was false ego. I am the doer. And what did he ask for?
He wanted to rule the whole.
Yeah. And then what did Kumbhakarna ask?
He was about to ask something, but he asked for the sleeping.
Yeah.
To sleep for 6
And
months
his
and get
activities were
someday
against the scriptural
satisfied.
injunctions, without concern for future bondage or violence or distress caused to others.
Mm.
Right?
Mm.
So one has to give one's account. One has to give account of one's action to the state or to the agent of Supreme Lord called Yamadutas. So our whole activities is tracked by Yamadutas. What are we doing? Good, bad, and all that. Irresponsible work is destructive because it destroys the regulative principle of scriptural injunction. It is therefore based on violence and is distressing to other living entities. Such irresponsible work is carried out in the light of one's personal experience. This is called
Illusion.
illusion, and all such illusory work is a product of mode of
Mode of
ignorance.
ignorance.
Okay. Now duty. Hmm? Krishna is going to talk about duty in three modes. One who performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature, without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, and without wavering in success or failure is said to be worker in the mode of goodness. So how are we to work? Disassociate with mode of material nature, without false ego. Know that whatever work we are doing, Krishna is giving us all the intelligence, knowledge, everything. Great determination, enthusiasm. Don't become lazy, and don't think about success and failure. Whether you get success, failure, do your activity. So who fought very determined and enthusiastically and achieved and was actually failed in the mission? In Ramayana, there was
Mm.
one person who fought
Ravana.
very. Huh?
Ravana.
No. He was in
Mm.
mode of goodness. He fought with great
Was in mode
determination,
of goodness.
enthusiasm,
Bharata.
No.
but ultimately he failed.
Ultimately, he failed.
Yeah.
Bharata only.
He failed to
J-
save Sita. Who was he?
Jatayu, Prabhuji.
Jatayu. Jatayu.
Yeah, Jatayu.
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 Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so Jatayu fought with great determination and enthusiasm without thinking of success and failure. Ultimately got failure.
Mm.
Yeah.
But then because he did without association of three modes, he did it for the service of Lord Ram. He got to go to,
Ram gave him moksha.
yeah, he gave him moksha. A person in Krishna consciousness
Okay.
always transcends the modes of material nature. He has no expectation for results of work entrusted to him because he's above the false ego and pride. Still, he is always enthusiastic till the completion of such work. He does not worry about distress undertaken. He is always enthusiastic. He does not care for success or failure. He is equal in both distress and happiness. Such a worker is situated in mode of goodness. What happens with a worker in mode of passion? How is he? He's attached to the work.
Mm.
He's attached to the fruit.
Mm.
If I don't get the fruit, I will give up the work.
Mm.
Desiring to enjoy those fruits. I want that fruit. Otherwise, I won't do it.
Mm.
He is greedy, envious, impure, moved by joy and sorrow. He's in mode of passion. A person too much attached to a certain kind of work and to the result because he has too much attachment for materialism or hearth or family, home, children. Such a person has no desire for higher elevation in life. He is simply concerned of making in this world comfortable, materially comfortable as possible, earn as much money as possible. He's greedy. He thinks anything can be attained in this world is permanent, never lost. Such a person is envious of others. I want to kill the other person. I want to destroy him, like that. He prepared to do anything wrong for sense gratification. Therefore, such a person is unclean and he does not care what he's earning is pure or impure. He gets into illegal business. He's very happy if his work is successful and very much distressed when his work is not successful. Some people commit suicide if their business fails.
Mm.
Mm.
So that is all in mode of passion. Out of envy, they may kill the other competitor also. There are many examples
Mm.
like that.
Yes.
Even the children, school boys or girls, if they don't get high marks, what they expected, then they also commit suicide. No? But that is also mode of passion, Prabhuji.
Yes. So therefore, we have to teach them that you be in good mode of goodness.
Mm.
Do it dutifully. And now, worker in mode of ignorance. The worker is always engaged in a work against the injunction of scriptures. Who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, expert in insulting others, and who is lazy, always morose, procrastinating, is said to be worker in mode of ignorance. In the scriptural injunction, we find what sort of work should be performed and what sort of work should not be performed. Those who do not care for those injunctions engage in work not to be done. Such a person are generally materialistic. They work according to the modes of material nature, not according to the injunction of scripture. Such workers are not very gentle. Generally, they are always cunning, expert in insulting others. They are very lazy. Even though they have some duty, they do not do it properly. They put aside their work done later. Therefore, they appear to be morose. They procrastinate. Anything which can be done in an hour, they drag on for years. Such workers are said to be in mode of
Mode
ignorance.
of ignorance.
Yeah. Tomorrow they are going to get elected also.
Yes,
I
Prabhuji.
know.
They are going to,
Really.
the way
Don't
they are
feel like
planning.
voting for anyone.
Anyhow,
Yeah.
my name is not there. So no one vote.
Okay.
Nota only we should do. No one
Yeah.
is fit.
Yep, how they are announcing tomorrow is election. Please come and vote. Please come and vote.
Any phone call you make, now we are getting election.
Yeah,
Tomorrow, your duty to vote.
yeah, yeah. It comes.
Be
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Any
Okay.
questions? Any comments?
Prabhuji, from right from beginning, you have not been coaching this. I mean, taking Bhagavad Gita because we are listening to your lectures only now. So from right from chapter 1, you would have been taking, isn't it? We were not informed
No, no. I'm only taking this part from 13 to,
from 13. Acha.
13 to 18.
Okay.
yeah.
13 to 18. Okay.
Okay.
So is
Any
there any chance after this you will be taking from chapter 1?
uh maybe I don't know. But I run another program also, which is corporate Bhagavad Gita, which happens Friday 1 to 2 p.m.